Hello and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. In this episode, we're going to be talking about one of the best centre-backs in the world and probably one of the best centre-backs football has seen in the past 100 years. We're going to be talking about the Liverpool and Netherlands sensation, Virgil Van Dijk. Before we do that, there's a couple of birthday shout-outs to do and a couple of your shout-out messages to do. So we'll get straight into those, shall we? And the first one is a massive happy birthday to Tom, who is 8 on the 2nd of November. Tom listens to every single one of the episodes and is a real big fan of the podcast. He plays for Droitwich Vipers under 8s and his dad Bob and Carl are his amazing coaches. His friends Ben, Theo, Charlie, George and Oliver all love the show as well. His favourite player is Kylian Mbappe. He would love another episode on him. Well, Tom, a very, very happy birthday to you on your birthday. I hope that you had a really wonderful day and I hope that you enjoy this podcast. A massive shout out to all of your friends that you play football with and, of course, to your amazing coaches as well. The next one is a massive happy birthday to Teddy. It's his 7th birthday on the 4th of November and his mum tells me that he absolutely loves the podcast. He currently supports Manchester City. Well, that sounds, Teddy, like you might have changed your team once or twice. By the sounds of it, Teddy's been to go and see his local team recently, Woking FC. His great-grandmother is 93 and has supported Chelsea for almost 70 years, so we have a long history of loving football. Well, Teddy, a massive shout out to you, a huge happy birthday to you on the 4th of November. I hope that you too have a fantastic day. I hope that you enjoy this podcast and a massive shout out to everybody that you know and everybody that you play football with. The next one is a massive shout out to 6-year-old Jacob, who might actually be a bit older now because Jacob's message came in May this year. He might still be 6, I'm not sure. Jacob listens to the podcast every night before bed, which is fueling his football obsession because I've heard that he's football bonkers. Jacob would like a shout out to the Sheringham under-7s team. He would also love episodes on Suarez and Benzema. Well, Jacob, a huge shout out to you and to everybody in your football team. And I've literally just released an episode on Luis Suarez, which is on the Patreon page. So hopefully you'll get an opportunity to go and check that out if you're a super listener. And the last one on this episode says, "Hi Darren, it's George and Hugo here. We are 8 and 10 years old brothers from New Zealand. Every night before bed, we listen to your podcast. They are our favourite. We absolutely love football and we play for our local club, Auckland East Coast Boys. Our favourite team is Burnley Football Club and we would love for you to do an episode on Vincent's Company. Thank you so much for your awesome content, and that is from George and Hugo." Well, you two, a huge shout out to both of you and everybody at the Auckland East Coast Boys Club, and of course to your wonderful coaches who give up their time, and I'm sure they do a fantastic job as well. Right, that's all we've got time for shout outs and messages and birthdays and everything else on this episode. If you would like a chance to get a shout out for your teammates, your football team, your coaches, or whoever it is, you can ask an adult to send an email to footballforkidspodcast@gmail.com. Virgil van Dijk was born in July 1991 in the Netherlands. Virgil grew up playing football like everyone else, playing at every opportunity, anywhere he had a chance to do so. He has a sister and a brother, and his brother is around 3 years younger than him. Virgil has fond memories of playing football with his younger brother on the streets, and his younger brother almost always ended up in goal. Virgil grew up in a good house and he has happy memories of growing up in the Netherlands. His mum would say stuff to him to try and keep him on the straight and narrow. She would remind him to treat everyone with respect and that he should always stay true to himself, something which he has always tried to live by and now is telling his children to do the same. Virgil enjoyed playing football from a very young age, and he played in some youth teams before his father took him to play at different clubs and academies where he spent several years learning his craft and becoming a great young footballer. Virgil's relationship with England and English football started in his youth days when his Dutch team came to England on a footballing trip as he and his teammates travelled to Newcastle. Virgil remembers the players he played against being very fiery, but he also remembers watching the first team at St James's Park and the atmosphere being completely electric. It was from this moment on that he realised how much he wanted to play in the Premier League and be involved with British football. Virgil is 6'5" tall. However, his height changed pretty dramatically over just one summer when he was around 15 years old. Virgil grew an unbelievable amount over the summer holidays. He's not sure exactly how much it was, but it was somewhere around 15 inches, and he ended up towering over people that he was shorter than just a couple of months before. From then on, his size helped him in becoming a better defender and a better all-round footballer. Virgil stayed in the Dutch leagues up until he was 20 years old, making his professional senior debut for a Dutch team and learning the classy Dutch way of playing the beautiful game. Virgil's first move to British football came in 2013 when he joined the Scottish team Celtic, and Celtic paid over £2.5 million for him. Virgil's first season with Celtic was an amazing one. They only lost one game the whole season, winning the Scottish Premiership. And in that same year, he played in the Champions League against the likes of Ajax, Barcelona and AC Milan, earning valuable experience and playing football on some of the biggest stages in the world. Virgil spent 3 seasons with Celtic, winning the Scottish Premiership twice and playing over 100 games for them. In 2015, Virgil was set to join the Premier League and he joined Southampton. Virgil fitted in well at the club, and at the end of the season he was voted to be the Player of the Year by both the players and the Southampton fans. In the following season, Virgil was getting better and better. He was named the Southampton captain and started to gain some interest from other clubs in the Premier League, like Chelsea, Manchester City and Liverpool. All of those became very interested in him. After 3 seasons with the Saints, it was time for a change, and Liverpool snapped him up for something around £75 million. Virgil's start to Liverpool was off to a flying start, as Liverpool drew their bitter rivals Everton in the FA Cup, which just happened to be Virgil's debut for the club, and it just happened to be the day that he scored his first goal, which just happened to be the winning goal to send Liverpool through to the next stage of the competition. Can you imagine how good it felt for the Liverpool fans? But can you try to imagine how good it felt for Virgil van Dijk? Virgil's opening season with Liverpool was a good one, as not only did he make a massive impression on the manager, the teammates and the fans, but he got to play a full 90 minutes in the Champions League final, where Liverpool came up short against Real Madrid. Of course, he would have liked to have won that game, but he got the experience playing in one of the biggest games of the footballing calendar. The following season, Liverpool made it to yet another Champions League final, but this time it was against Tottenham. It was a game which Liverpool ended up winning 2-0, and Virgil van Dijk was sensational in that game and was awarded Man of the Match, something he will never forget. Virgil has had some career with Liverpool so far, as he's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Football League Cup, and Virgil is now playing in his 6th season for Liverpool, and it doesn't seem that he has any plans on leaving. Not only has Virgil van Dijk become a legend of Liverpool and the Premier League, but he has also represented his country of the Netherlands over 60 times, proudly wearing that bright orange kit. Virgil van Dijk is now widely known as probably the best centre-back on the planet. And at 32 years old, we hope he's got many more years of football left within him. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about the career and story of Virgil van Dijk so far. So remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly or pitchside, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.